Someone just mentioned Wellington in there. This is a strange one because it doesn't seem to be too much information as to why they want to replace the Wellington people, other than it's almost like the nationwide version of Labor bad, for this Wellington Council. Yeah, we're still early enough. We'll do this one and then we'll head off for the night. Let's have a listen.
A schmozzle and a shambles. Government ministers haven't minced their words on the Wellington City Council.
Man, every time I've heard a schmozzle, it's worse than a four-lettered worse.
At least really it's not a kerfuffle.
Oh, yeah, it's good. No kerfuffles.
And Simeon Brown is now seeking advice on a potential intervention. It comes after the sale of airport shares was voted down, meaning the city's long-term plan will need to be changed with a major cut in spending. Abby Wakefield reports.
The government not holding back.
We are deeply concerned about Wellington City Council.
It's a shambles.
Schmozzle is the best description of it.
The council's previously agreed long-term plan now has to be reopened after last week's vote stopped the sale of its airport shares.
Ratepayers are looking at the council, they see it as a bit of a shambles, relitigating an entire long-term plan, and all of those decisions and the potential impact they may have on their rates bills is quite concerning.
Adding to the capital's...
While this is playing, Wellingtonians in the chat right now, identify yourself and give us your thoughts. Because what it feels like is that there is conflict within the council, and Nationals using that as a way to take control, like to try and maybe use Tory whānau as an example, make an example of her. I put a request into Tory today. We didn't hear back, but it's Wellingtonians, identify yourselves and let us know what you think.
Controversy, the council's seeking feedback on whether to demolish or save the iconic but earthquake-prone City to Sea Bridge. Strengthening it is estimated to cost over $100 million. Some councillors say there's a lack of leadership from Wellington's mayor.
The first thing she did when she came in is she told me she didn't trust me. So I thought it was like declaring war.
I think the mayor has done a good job in trying to lead through a very difficult time.
There's a lot of disagreement and there's no willingness to actually work together.
Wellington Mayor Tory whānau was unavailable for an interview today, but in a statement said while she doesn't agree with the decision not to sell the airport shares, she is just one vote around the table.
The council can't agree on...
Yeah, it does kind of feel like because that deal fell through, Nationals gone, oh, these guys can't do anything, let's take over. And she's one vote, and we've already got someone in the chat identifying they're from, there's lots of people saying they're from Wellington. But there we go, Kiwibird. I am the Wellington region, I voted to keep the shares. So it's not like, I think was it Tauranga? Oh, no, it was Christchurch that went under a commissioner for a while. Like, it sounded like it was really dysfunctional and toxic. It doesn't sound like that to me, although we're only getting a short article. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here, which is why I'm looking to you experts who live in Wellington to explain it to us.
I can tell you the woman on screen there, Nicola Young, I think she is.
Nicola No Boats.
It's a lot of finger pointing at her being just like she's Wellington's Lee Vandervis to make it local.
Okay.
Just someone who votes against everything. Just seems to be very, very out of step and just there to cause ruckus. And I think there is an important point there in what Tory has said. Yes, the mayor is an important an important role, but at the end of the day, it's one vote.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that.
Well, but the only thing the mayor does do is the mayor sets the agenda as well. So the mayor can control what gets voted on, but they can't control the vote. So the mayor sets the agenda as to what to come to the table. So that's sort of the only power, quote unquote, they've got. But yes, once things are being voted for, the mayor has one vote just like everybody else does. So 100%. We keep going?
And the council has put through a long-term plan that we simply can't afford.
Meanwhile, the local government ministers looking at possible interventions. Do you want to appoint a commissioner to Wellington City Council?
Oh, look, I'm not getting into that.
Is that one of the options?
Well, there's a range of options under the Local Government Act Part 10 powers that the Minister for Local Government has.
I think it's scaremongering. At the end of the day, Wellington City Council needs support to help its city pay the enormous bills that we have on the table, and ratepayers are fronting that cost.
Bills to pay and a lot of water to still go under the bridge.
You've spoken to some Wellington City
That'll do. Lots of texts in here. Let's just go straight to some texts, though, because there are people in Wellington region. I live in Wellington, and this is super concerning. James again, Wellington City Council is doing okay. Nats are making noise about it to distract from their own shambles. Mike says it's because it's a green mayor. Yep, Pat, it's a beat up. Scott says ZB right wing attack. Oh, sorry, I jumped way ahead there. Vicky says, yep, usual Nats stuff. I'll just say Archix. To sell off the airport. They want to sell off the airport. So if National wants to sell off the airport. Mr. Arvid smells like mothball old ratepayers group. In the ballot says National overstepping their mark. Paul, the other one, maybe the party of cancelling ferries by text, then realising you have to pay more for that than still get them. Should stay quiet on what constitute shambles. Gotcha. And there's a bit of an expanded answer from Scott. ZB right-wing attack over coloured female in power. Mr. Alex says, Nicola Young campaign to keep Kandala Pool open when it was known to be a financial issue for the Wellington City Council. Yeah, it doesn't... I'm not in Wellington. Sure, you may have more to say about this, True, because I'm sure you still have lots of contacts in Wellington from being sort of living a good portion of your life there. But it doesn't seem like the kind of crisis time to need to come in and put an undemocratically elected body over the council. I mean, like all we're really hearing in that story, all we're really hearing is that they decided to keep their shares rather than sell them. And now all of a sudden they're talking about commissioner. Like it doesn't seem, I mean, there could be stuff in the background we don't know about, but that's what's being reported. They were going to sell the shares. They didn't. Oops, government might have to step in. That's why I'm lost.
Yeah. So, I mean, the core part of this is that in their long-term plan, their 10-year plan of how they're going to fund things, there was the point that they were going to sell some of their airport shares.
Yeah.
The fact is that the council has voted against that now, which means that they need to rejigger their whole 10-year plan. It's a big job.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not an undemocratic process. Elected councillors have made a decision. And I think that the fact that the central government doesn't like that decision to start sort of going, well, maybe we need to step in and take over. For a government that talks about democracy so much seems to be an utter piss take.
Yeah.
I think this really is a bunch of right-wing interest sort of rounding off on a very left-leaning council in a lot of places. And Wellington always is. Yeah.
Like Dave's comment. Oh no. What will we do? Democracy in action. Oh no.
And you look at times where National has stepped in and taken over, like I think of ECAN in Christchurch.
Yep. That's what I was thinking of.
That was a massive overreach into local democracy. And it was purely because issues around water in Canterbury were going against commercial interests. That they stood in and took it over. Other examples of, I think it was Tauranga. They put in a commissioner because their council was dysfunctional. I think it's a big step for central government to go, no, not like that. We don't like that. So we're taking over. They've been very, very quick to hit that button. Wellington has a lot of problems. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of it comes back to something we've spoken about local government most of this year. Is the only way that local government has to raise funds to do stuff is rates. Wellington's water infrastructure is falling apart. Three Waters would have been a way to solve that. Gone. Wellington is still got a lot of problems with earthquake resilience. There are still buildings that are red and yellow stickered, waiting for landlords to do something about it since the Kaikoura earthquake. And the news about the City to Sea Bridge, that's just another thing. They're still trying to work through all of this and they're big ticket items. And all they can do is put up rates.
Gareth says this can be for anybody, but Pat, you should listen to Wellington Councillor Nicola Young's interview with Lisa Owen on RNZ today. Clearly has an agenda against the mayor.
Yeah. Now, speaking to that agenda, remember when there was that fucking filthy rumor about Tory whānau going on and a video that apparently people had seen?
Mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicola went on the platform to speak about that. And of course, she hasn't seen the video either, but was happy to wax lyrical about it because a friend of a friend had seen it. She's happy to spread rumors about the mayor in the press. She is not an honest actor. But if you're reading the story from outside of the Wellington region, or you don't know about the goings on in the Wellington Council, then you would take her on face value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always ask someone from the region who their good councillors are, and they'll fucking tell you.
Yeah.